Your child is your best investment, and you can help them to regulate their emotions, and you can help them establish empathy, and you can not overindulge them and not underindulge them. You need to create an emotionally safe space for this child and start doing the work. God gave you this child. He gave you the tools to parent this child. He has equipped you for this, so you can do this. Your child is your legacy. They are going to go out in the world and they are going to change things.
Who could stand against me? Freedom, I can feel the wind in my soul. Freedom, freedom is my anthem.
Hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay McKinnon, biblical counselor with Eyes to See, where we heal from hurts, traumas, and toxic relationships. Tonight, I'm answering your questions in this Q&A session, and the topic is narcissism. The question of the day is, what do I do with my child who has some of these narcissistic characteristics? How can I help? So, if you have a child that's displaying narcissistic characteristics because you now have learned about narcissism and you are scared, don't fear, don't worry. You can jump in and you can help them. And like I've said, narcissists are made, they're not born, and they're made from adverse childhood experiences. So perhaps your child has gone through trauma, perhaps there has been abuse in the household, and you can't undo that. You cannot. But you can help them to process it, and you can help them to regulate their emotions, and you can help them establish empathy, and you can not overindulge them and not underindulge them. You need to create an emotionally safe space for this child and start doing the work. It is going to take a little bit of work on your behalf if these things have already happened and if your child's already displaying these types of characteristics. But your child is your best investment besides yourself and besides your relationship with God. But God gave you this child. He gave you the tools to parent this child. He has equipped you for this. So you can do this. And whatever's being done by the other parent, ignore it, doesn't matter. All that God needs to put in place in anyone's life is one good parent. And if that one good parent is God, then it is. But especially if they have one good earthly parent, and if you're asking these questions, then you are a good parent and you care and you're going to make a difference in your child's life. So what you need to do is help them regulate their emotions. You need to help them process whatever trauma they've witnessed and whatever they've been around. Start having open and transparent conversations about that if they're old enough. And if they're not old enough, it needs to be really feeling based. When they start to act out, or if they shut down, whichever opposite end of the spectrum they fall on. Typically, these kids are not emotionally regulating, so they do one or the other. They're either really explosive or they are really sullen, and they do not talk to anybody about their feelings. You've got to start to there's a middle in there that you've got to find and make happen. And that is going to take consistency on your behalf. Consistency is key. And that means checking in with them every single night, checking in with them every single morning. If you see them throughout the day, checking in with them. And I don't just mean, are you okay? Or how's your day? I mean, what emotion are you feeling right now? Especially when they're having a tantrum or when they seem to be shutting down. Ask them, what are you feeling right now? And in my past Q&A session, I mentioned the emoji chart. There's an emoji chart that shows each main emotion. And asking your children to identify their emotion by pointing at it is a very, very good way to help them to start to feel their emotions. And you can say things like, oh, you're that? Yeah, mommy's this today. Or mommy was that yesterday. This is what happened to me, if it's an appropriate thing to explain to the child. What went on with you to make you feel that way today? And open it up. Help them to process what they're going through. Things that seem small and insignificant to us are big in their world, and they're impacting them big. So narcissistic characteristics are not processing emotions, not regulating emotions. Start to insert that. You might have to do work on yourself to become emotionally intelligent so that you can come alongside your child and do this. But that's good work. There is no waste in that. And your child is your legacy. They are going to go out in the world and they are going to change things. Please put children out into the world that are going to change things for good. And I know that that's what you want. So it also comes in line with the empathy factor. You have got to start to teach them empathy if they're not showing empathy. If they seem to not care when others cry, if they seem to not care when they hurt others' feelings or hurt others physically by accident or any other way, then you've got to address that. And you're going to have to get down on their level, and you're going to have to ask them about, well, your sister's crying. That's not funny. Why are you laughing at that? Or you pushed your sister and she got hurt and you don't seem to care about that. And talk to them about it. Explain to them that we care when people are hurt. We care when other people express their emotions. We have to care and hold space for other people. But that also will come along when you demonstrate it for them and you do it to them. But having the conversation about it's important if they're already displaying this lack of empathy behavior. Now, all kids, not all kids there's different circumstances with kids, and things are going to happen. And they're not always just going to fawn and care about someone that's over there crying when they're the ones that ended up with the toy that they wanted. That's normal. So don't try and diagnose your children as a narcissist just because they have some behaviors that aren't exactly perfect. No child is going to be perfect, and don't put that on them. But pay attention to how they respond to negative emotions in other people. And let them know that it's not bad and it's not scary and it doesn't make someone bad for being sad or upset or crying. Crying is a good thing. Explain to them the body process of crying and how it's our body trying to regulate itself, and it's our body trying to fix things and get something out that needs to get out, and that we can cry. And there is nothing wrong with crying. That's an important thing to show your kids so that they can empathize with you, so they can empathize for themselves, so they can empathize with others around them. We have to not shame them for crying. And if you have an overly emotional child, then you need to help them process their emotions too in a different way. And it might look more like them actually talking about or trying to say why they're crying. And that might be drawing pictures. They might not be able to put words to it. And be patient with them in that, and try all different kinds of ways. Try asking them, seeing if they can say it. Try asking them to draw a picture of what's making them cry. Ask them to point out the emojis, because just because they're crying doesn't mean that they're sad. Crying can mean a lot of things. It can mean anger. It can mean frustration. So see what it is that's bothering them. Help them to put a word to it so that they don't just feel wrong for feeling the way that they're feeling. Because all that they know is that I feel bad right now and I don't want to feel this anymore. And so if I feel bad, then I am bad is also part of the internalization that a child goes through. And also not overindulging and not underindulging. If you're neglecting your children in any way, and I highly doubt you are if you're asking this question, but if you're neglecting your child, if you are gone frequently, and I mean frequently, if you're emotionally disengaged with them, if you are not supporting them in their interests and things that they want to do, and then also praising them even when they don't do well at something, and still letting them know that you're proud of them, that you love them, that you support them no matter their performance, that's very important. And not overindulging them, not going and being too much of their protector. They need to have chores. They need to have responsibilities. They need to have failures. And then they need you to support them in those failures. Kids can't just be completely guarded all the time by the parent. Let them have a little bit of realness in their life so that you can then show them how to process that, because that's something that narcissists don't ever learn, is how to handle negative things happening to them. So the negative things are going to have to happen. They're going to happen when they grow up. You cannot protect them forever, but you can show them how to process that, how to be okay with themselves through that, how not to turn in on themselves and think that they're worthless just because something negative happened or because they didn't accomplish or achieve what they wanted to, and show them that they're still worthy and that they still have value, and let them know that you love them unconditionally, and not over spoiling them, not letting them rule the roost. If you made pizza tonight and they don't want homemade pizza, they want that store-bought pizza, too bad. We made pizza and we're going to be grateful that we have food on the table at all. And even if you have 2 bites, that's 2 bites and that's fine. And then let them go to bed hungry. You can do things like that. So don't let the kid just also rule the roost. If you're in the middle of a conversation and you have a child that just interrupts all the time because they feel, and I'm talking about not a baby, but an older child that knows better, they need to have emotional intelligence. You have to teach them, we're talking right now. It's very rude to interrupt. I will come and spend time with you after I'm done with this conversation, and then go do it. Don't dismiss them and leave them just waiting forever or never follow through with that. But teaching them emotional regulation, teaching them conversational and interactive regulation, teaching them empathy, teaching them that they can fail and still be okay, teaching them they're not all good and not all bad. That's impossible. It's none of those things. Those are all key points to combating narcissism showing up in your child and to raising a good, healthy, emotionally intelligent child. Emotional regulation is key, and consistency on your behalf is going to be key. Even when you're tired, you need to come in and do that check-in with them at night. Even when you're stressed and running late, you need to stop and take the time for the check-in. That's also setting an example for them and showing them that even when we're running behind, we don't neglect the important things, and you are an important thing because you're my child and I love you. And your feelings matter, and your feelings are valid. Validating their feelings is also very, very important in this. So I hope that helped you. I will have much deeper dive videos on narcissism in children and narcissism affecting children on my channel on YouTube. So please subscribe to get those videos. I love you. Have a good day.